How to sew a woven t-shirt. Before we get started, let's talk construction. This is a loose-fitting shirt. It has a front body, a back body, and 2 sleeves. This shirt also has a short button-up placket and a collarless neckline. It has hems on the waistline at both sleeves. All seams can be sewn with a standard straight stitch sewing machine. No serger is needed. For the materials, you'll need about 2 yards of lightweight woven fabric, scissors, chalk, and about a yard of bias tape. You'll also need a pattern. Check the description for a link to the pattern used in this video. Now we'll start cutting out the pattern pieces. With our fabric folded in half, we'll trace and cut the front body. Then we will do the same for the back body. Again, with fabric folded, we will trace and cut the sleeves. Lastly, we'll trace and cut our placket facing. Now we will prepare to sew the front placket. First, we will mark the placket length on the front body. Then we will stay stitch closely around the placket marking. This will help stabilize the fabric later on when we join the placket to the body. Then, between the stitches, we will cut the length of the placket marking. Now we'll join the placket to the body. We'll position both sides of the cut body wide open. Then we'll grab our placket piece from earlier and position it under the body piece with wrong sides facing outwards. Then we'll sew the placket facing to the body with a 1/2 centimeter seam allowance. Then we will press the seam flat. Then, on the unsewn edge of the placket facing, we will press a 1/2 centimeter fold. After that, we will fold the placket over itself to conceal all raw edges. Fold the placket so that the folded edge lines up near the previous sew line. Next, we will stitch along the folded edge of the placket. Next, we will fold the placket into 2 halves. The shirt body has a top side and a bottom side. We will choose a left body as the top side. Here on the left body, we'll fold the placket flat against the wrong fabric side. Then we will sew it flat. We will sew through the middle fold of the placket, then turn and sew down the entire edge of the placket. The placket is now finished. Now we'll sew the shoulder seams. With wrong sides facing outwards, we'll sew the front and back bodies together with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. In this video, we'll go ahead and leave these seams unfinished. But when sewing, you can use your preferred method to finish these seams. Here we're flipping the shirt right sides out. Now we will join the sleeves to the body. We will lay the sleeve on top of the body with right sides facing together. Starting with the left sleeve, we will match the notches and pin. Then we will sew with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. When joining the sleeve, take care to feed both layers of fabric evenly. Use more pins if needed. Now we'll join the right sleeve in the same way. Now we'll flip the shirt wrong sides out. Now onto the side seams. We'll start with the left side. Starting from the sleeve end, we'll neatly layer the front over the back and sew with a 1 cm seam allowance. Then we'll sew through the entire sleeve, then into the body, then we'll repeat on the right side, this time layering the back over the front. Next we'll sew the hems. We'll sew the waist with a 1.5 cm hem. Here I'm eyeballing the width and folding the hem by hand. If precision is a concern, I recommend measuring out the hem folds and pinning in place. Next we'll hem both sleeves in the same way. We'll repeat this again to hem the other sleeve. Now we'll finish off the neckline using double fold bias tape. We'll make a small fold on the end of the tape. By doing this, we are concealing the raw edge on the end of the tape. Then we will neatly sandwich the neckline in between our folded bias tape. Then we will stitch all along the edge of the bias tape. It can be tricky to sew evenly on both sides of the bias tape. If you're having trouble, you can baste the neckline and both sides of the bias tape together before sewing. Nearing the end of the neckline, we'll cut the bias tape with some extra slack. We'll fold the cut end over itself, concealing the raw edge and matching the length to the remaining length of the neckline. Then finish sewing to the end of the neckline. And with that, the shirt is finished. Well, mostly. The only finishing touches remaining are sewing the buttonholes and buttons. Leave a comment if you'd like to see a tutorial for sewing buttonholes and buttons by hand. Here is a finished shirt. If you made it this far, bravo! Nice. Bravo! Whoop, whoop. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe.